will now call to order the public hearing of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present: Dr. Tony Zabaleta, Esteban Alejandro, Esta de la Garza, Esdelia Sainz, Esta Alejandra Aldrete. Also present is Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. I'll ask Dr. Zabaleta to lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Oh, sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 3, public hearing on proposed 2021 ad valorem tax rate for Texas Southmost College taxing district. This is a public hearing to give the taxpayers an opportunity to express their views on the board's proposed tax rate. The board is proposing the following tax rates: a maintenance and operation tax rate of 0.119694 and a DIP tax rate of 0.034942 per $100,000 evaluation. This proposed rate is lower than the current rate. 2021 tax rates in Texas Southmost College District has been published on the Texas Southmost College website since August the 3rd, 2021. In order to provide opportunity for all who wish to comment, we have a 3-minute time limit on comments. As I call your name, please come by to the microphone. Do we have any persons wanting to speak? Having no public comments, the regular board meeting to vote on the tax rate is scheduled for today, Thursday, August 26, 2021, 5:30 p.m. Item number 4, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
So moved.
There's a motion on the table.
Second.
There's a second. Any comments, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Now we go on to the Texas Southmost College regular board meeting. Trustees present: Dr. Zabaleta, Ms. Eva Alejandro, Ms. Adela Garza, Ms. Delia Sainz, Ms. Alejandra Aldrete. Also present is Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. We already did the Pledge of Allegiance. Number 3, public comments. Has anyone signed up for public comments? Item number 4, President's report.
Thank you, Chair Herrera, Board Trustees. Good evening. This week, we began a new academic year, and I would like to take a moment and start my report to express my gratitude to our Board of Trustees, our faculty, staff, and students, and all their families. As a comprehensive community college, we exist to serve our communities. We know that our students have many different learning styles and unique preferences for how they want to engage with their courses. Therefore, we took special care to maintain a robust schedule of online and face-to-face courses as we prepare to return to in-person instruction. I'm truly appreciative for the resiliency of our Scorpion family they have shown in helping to move the college forward. So thank you, de todo corazón, gracias. This is the first report I have made since June, which seems like a really long time. I will begin with an enrollment update. As registration continues, these are preliminary numbers for the fall 2021 semester. As of Wednesday, we have registered 4,012 students on campus. In addition, we have 2,273 students in dual credit and 1,319 students in the early college high school. This brings the total fall enrollment to 7,604 students. Now, to enhance the service for our students during the fall registration period, we extended our student service hours of operations to include evening and Saturdays. We held 4 registration rallies from June through August to provide students with additional opportunities to register. We have also extended fall registration through the end of this week. To complement these efforts, our advertising campaigns have been running across all types of media channels, digital, streaming, and internet, as well as traditional radio and TV. Our campaigns include a series of 16 radio and TV interviews and the production of 3 different TV and radio spots. The fall semester began this past Monday, August the 23rd, and I will continue to provide you with the enrollment updates as we complete our fall registration process. Last week, we held our fall 2021 convocation. The ceremony marked the first in-person convocation we have hosted since before the quarantine began in spring 2020. And let me tell you, it was wonderful to see everyone again. I want to thank our past chair, Adela Garza, for participating and providing our faculty and staff with some words of encouragement and inspiring during our opening remarks for the fall convocation. I also want to thank Ms. Alejandro for attending convocation to support and encourage the Scorpion family. Thank you, ladies. Fall convocation included lively updates from our vice presidents, our associate director of trustees, and our director of foundation and community outreach. One of the updates that was presented during convocation was the TSC Foundation inaugural golf tournament, the Scorpion Classic. The event, which was held on June 26 at the Rancho Viejo Resort and Country Club, was a great success. More than 100 golfers participated in the Scorpion Classic, raising approximately $45,000 for TSC students' scholarships. I want to thank the TSC Foundation Board members, as well as the TSC Board of Trustees for their support, commitment, and participation in the tournament. Congratulations to the TSC Foundation Director, Mr. David Tomlinson, and his band of volunteers that produced the event to benefit our students. Since we last met, TSC has held 3 certified nursing assistants pinning ceremonies at the Itech Center to celebrate the transformation of our students into their healthcare professions. 19 students from Brownsville and Los Fresnos School District received their pins during the summer ceremonies. I was joined at different ceremonies by past Chair Garza and Trustee De Leon, as well as Trustee Aldrete. On behalf of the Scorpion family, I thank you for your support in recognizing our students' achievement of this milestone. Thank you so much. It really makes a big difference to see our trustees in these ceremonies. I appreciate that for you taking that time. Furthermore, the TSC Workforce Training and Continuing Education Department has launched a new orientation series in collaboration with Workforce Solution Cameron. Community members who have expressed an interest in our craft training programs are invited to attend the sessions to learn more about all of the programs we offer, and most have gone to enroll in a program on the spot. Workforce Solution Cameron representatives, led by Executive Director Pat Hobbs, are on hand at the orientations to assist students in applying for WIOA funding. That's through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. We are very happy that our community partnerships, such as this one, are connecting more students with funding for their education and ultimately to high-wage careers. Working together, we continue to make positive change for families in our communities. Our Scorpion family also continues with their outreach efforts led by Dr. Prisi in the community. The TSC's 21st Century Community Learning Center hosts a COVID-19 Wellness Box Pickup event in June on the TSC Fort Brown campus. This program is in the 3rd year at TSC, and it is funded through the grant from the Texas Education Agency. As part of our grant activities, we engage with families in the Brownsville Independent School District to create an environment where their children can excel academically to prepare for college and the workforce. The parent training sessions cover topics such as substance abuse awareness, gang prevention, and COVID-19 wellness awareness. Distribution of the Wellness Box closed out the 2021 school year. Families were supplied with thermometers, disinfectant wipes and spray, gloves, face masks and shields, and hand sanitizer. We look forward to continuing this highly effective collaboration with our partners with Brownsville Independent School District and BISD communities in schools into the next school year. Last month, we held an event with our friends at the Mexican Consulate Office in Brownsville to renew a longtime partnership. Consul Juan Carlos Cuevega presented TSC with a check for $12,000 to provide scholarships to students of Mexican origin attending TSC. Funding from the IME becas program will be matched through the Texas Public Education Grant Program. Together, these scholarships funds will bridge a crucial financial gap for students of Mexican origin who are attending college in the United States. Thank you, Chair Herrera, for taking part in this event and recognizing the Mexican Consulate Office for his continued support of TSC, our students, and our communities. To continue with the good news, regarding support for our students, earlier this month, the Texas Workforce Commission presented TSC with a check for $350,000 through the Texas Talent Connection Grant. This is our second year to receive the grant, which supports workforce training programs in industrial installation and welding. The capital investment from TWC helps us to do what we do best: identify high-wage career opportunities with local industry partners, design training curriculum from scratch, build labs from the ground up, and secure state-of-the-art equipment, recruit and support students through graduation, and most importantly, provide a seamless transitions for students into the workplace. Thank you to past Chair Garza for joining us at the ceremony to represent the board support for this initiative. Earlier this year, we introduced you to our Prior Learning Assessment, or PLA, program. This program fast-tracks students towards earning a college degree by providing college credit for earned industry certification, work experience, and military service. It is aligned with our strategic priority to develop accelerated pathways to move students to degree and certificate completion. This provides a great advantage for our non-traditional students, in particular, because it allows students to bypass certain courses that teach them skills they may have already mastered, ultimately allowing them to finish a degree and enter the workforce faster. Students who qualify for the PLA program can earn up to 75% of the credits for their degree plan, saving them substantial amount of time and money. We offer PLA for almost a dozen programs such as automotive technology, computer-aided drafting technology, medical office management. Students who are interested in seeing if they are eligible for the program should meet with a member of our academic advising team. As you also may remember, our instructional division has been working diligently to update our curriculum to embed industry certifications whenever possible. By doing this, students are more marketable as they graduate with a TSC degree or certificate, as well as an industry certification that employers may require. As part of this effort, TSC has now become a National Center for Competency Testing, or NCCT, testing site. NCCT is an independent credentialing organization for healthcare professionals and instructors. This summer, our medical office management program administered exams for 2 certifications. We started small, but I'm pleased to report that all 4 summer semester students who took the exams passed. 1 student is now a nationally certified medical office assistant, and 3 are now nationally certified in insurance and coding. I extend a special thanks to our medical office management program coordinator, Guadalupe Alanis, for his work in establishing TSC as a NCCT testing site and ensuring our students were prepared to succeed. I now would like to call on Dr. Joanna Kyle, our Vice President of Instruction, who will provide us with an update on the nursing and diagnostic sonography program, as well as some TSC or TWC grant announcement that we received today. Dr. Kyle. Today, just hot off the press. So with your permission, Chair?
Please.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair Herrera, Board of Trustee members, President Rodriguez. Our diagnostic medical sonography program, as you are aware, has had 100% pass rates on their national exams for a while. And the Commission on Accreditation of Allied Health Education Programs approved a new set of standards. And recently, the Joint Review Committee on Education in Diagnostic Medical Sonography notified all of the programs that the general concentration for DMS is being discontinued. And all programs that are currently accredited in the general concentration will have to be accredited in the abdominal, extended, and obstetrics and gynecology concentrations. And so we received notification that we now have continuing accreditation status for both of those specialties. And our next comprehensive evaluation will be no later than 2029. So I would like to say congratulations to Dr. Villanueva, Ms. Adriana Dallas, and Dr. Pierce for that. Also, I would like to extend kudos to our ADN nursing faculty and Ms. Beth Kasprisen. As you may be aware, we had 10 graduates in May. 9 out of 10 passed their NCLEX exam. Traditionally, it takes an 80% pass rate to be taken off of, I know, but what do you call it? Provisional approval is what I was trying to think of. Oh, I'm getting old. Usually, T-Bond looks at pass rates for the NCLEX exam in October, and because of unusual circumstances, they have moved it to January. So instead of our program being brought to the T-Bond in January, it will now be next April before they can consider our provisional status, which means that our students that graduate in December, right now our class is 21 for that, our students that graduate in December, the T-Bond will also consider their exam pass rates. So
Pressure's on.
the pressure is on. Ms. Kasprisen is feeling it. I spoke with her today. But kudos to the faculty for 9 out of 10 on their first round. That's exceptional. And also thanks to the Board of Trustees for supplying the equipment and all of the software that our students needed to pass their NCLEX. And I did verify with Ms. Kasprisen that that software and equipment is still available to our next round of students that will graduate in December. So we're very hopeful. And the pressure's on, Madam Chair. I'm also happy to report, as of August 24th, that we received notification from the Texas Workforce Commission that our Skills Development Fund grant application will, with Still Coast, in the amount of $286,763 has been approved. So Still Coast hopes to train 170 new jobs and 80 upgraded jobs. So congratulations to Dr. Flashman, Mr. Tom Tynan, Ms. Monica Pierce, and Dr. Angelica Fuentes that collaborated on that and with Still Coast to make sure that that was a success. So that's all I have to report, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, we continue to move forward with purpose and direction, and we cannot do it without the support of our trustees, so thank you. As my last item tonight, I'm very pleased to report that TSC hosted 3 well-attended Scorpion Success Orientation sessions last weekend. Students and their guests attended sessions designed to support their success at TSC. They were also treated to a motivational magic performance to spark their engagement with our campus leaders. I would like to thank Board Chair Herrera, Board Secretary Alejandro, and Trustee Saenz and Trustee Aldrete for joining us in the orientation sessions. They jumped right in to help with everything from manning the registration table to offering words of welcoming to our newest Scorpion. So thank you very much. Once again, I want to thank our Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and their families for all their continued support for the 2021-2022 academic year. We look forward to a very successful fall semester. This concludes my report. Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Chair. I have a question. Yes. You gave us the enrollment as of today, I assume?
Yesterday.
Class. How does that compare to same time last year enrollment? Are we down? Are we up? Are we level?
No, we're down. We're down this time last year.
Okay.
And that's why we extended a little bit on the registration. We continue to promote it, our fall registration. So we're hoping to get closer to that number. But
okay.
we are trending lower this time from last year.
And what percentage are we?
I'm looking about an 8%.
All right.
Now, what matters is census state, because students can register and they can drop. So the census state is the one that the state holds us accountable.
And from what I read from around the state, that's our drop is much lower
Oh,
than
significant.
most community colleges around the state.
That is correct.
All right.
That is correct. No, even though we're trending lower this time last year, in comparison to others, we're still holding our ground.
Yes,
doing
thank
well.
you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, President Rodriguez. Next item is consideration possible action on a resolution honoring Mr. Manuel Gavito. Tonight, we're very pleased to honor a longtime faculty member, Mr. Manuel Gavito. Mr. Gavito is retiring after 25 years exclusively with to service of Texas Southmost College as an instructor and program director of the Radiologic Technology Program. 25 years with Texas Southmost College exclusively, and then 20 years with a partnership for a total of 46 years. I think I was.
You hadn't been born yet.
Miss Garza and Miss Alejandro and Miss Hines hadn't been born yet.
Yo tampoco.
You were just a sparkle in your mother's eye.
And we just heard Dr. Kyle say 100% passage rate, 100% passage rate. Mr. Gavito's program has had 100% passage rate for a long time. So, Mr. Gavito, you're an asset to Texas Southmost College. We hate for you to retire. Go on, do 6 months, sleep late, come back. I will now ask Mr. Rubén Peña to read the resolution, which recognizes his dedicated service for the board's consideration.
Mr. Chair, may I say something?
Please.
Mr. Gavito, I've been around 12 years here, but I think of you as the captain of the ship, one that carried a lot of passengers and one that changed a lot of lives. Obviously, you believe in what you were doing,
Can't hear you.
and you believe in TSC.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you? Can you hear me? You could hear me. Can you? Okay. Obviously, you believed in TSC. You've been an outstanding steward for the mission of TSC, and we cannot thank you enough. Retiring is fun, though. I've been retired for a long time, and I recommend it. But we are gonna miss you. Thank you for all you did for those students, and I know that I can think of at least 4 that you've made a difference in their lives and their families' lives, and you've made a difference in Brownsville. So you should be so proud. We're proud that we can say you were ours, and you will always be a Scorpion. Thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for believing in TSC. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Mr. Peña?
Yes, sir. May it please, Mr. Chairman, the members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez, State of Texas, County of Cameron, Texas Southmost College District, a resolution honoring the service of Mr. Manuel Gavito upon his retirement. Whereas Manuel Gavito has served the Lower Rio Grande Valley with distinction as an instructor and program director of radiologic technology at Texas Southmost College for 25 years, and whereas Mr. Gavito was the first and has been the only program director for the Texas Southmost College Radiologic Technology Program, and whereas Mr. Gavito ensured students had access to state-of-the-art technology by converting manual X-ray labs into fully digital labs and obtaining energized labs so students could acquire hands-on experience, and whereas students in Texas Southmost College Radiologic Technology Program have consistently achieved a 100% pass rate on their licensure exams, creating a consistent pipeline of highly qualified healthcare professionals for the Rio Grande Valley, and whereas each member of the Texas Southmost College of Trustees believes it is a special honor to recognize Mr. Gavito's service upon his retirement, now, therefore, be it resolved, this, the 26th day of August, 2021, that the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District hereby commends and pays tribute to Mr. Gavito for his dedicated service to the college and the community.
Just a second. Let me finish this thing off and we'll do a little ceremony. I hereby move that the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College adopt the resolution honoring Mr. Manuel Gavito for his 25 years of service to the students of Texas Southmost College and the community which the college serves. I have a motion.
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
How is the lady who's going to fill your shoes going to be able to fill them? Weston.
Anybody can be replaced. She'll do well. I'll help her along whenever I can.
We're very happy for you. We're very grateful. Thank you so much. Let me present the resolution to Mr. Gavito. Please, board, accompany me. Picture. Let's take a picture. The boss.
Also, this is on behalf of the TSC board.
Okay, Mr. President, let's have you come in a little closer. Okay. Looking good. Everybody, one step this way, please. Again, we can spread you all out just a little bit. Stop it coming on. Okay. Here we go, first photo. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Now we can open it, photo. Just turn your head over here. Go for it. Here we go. 1. Can we get Mr. Gavito's family in the photo? Yeah, come on. Come on. No, board is here. There we go, perfect. If you all will scoot this way just a little bit, and you will scoot out this way, so we can see everybody. Sorry, the back, go a little bit this way so we can see. There we go. All right, you're welcome. Perfect. Good to go. All right, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Here we go. Take it. All right.
I've known him all these years. He's 45. Somebody honored me. Here I am. No wonder. Yeah, I wonder why. I was gonna comment on that.
You were gonna say, El Rio?
Somebody had to buy my.
I just want to thank everybody for your kind words. No, what can I say? I mean, everybody's been nice. I've had other gatherings from people at the hospital, from Valley Regional. They did a little thing over there where they had students come up and say, things that I told them. I don't remember those things, but no, that I mentioned in class, and it was real nice of Art, guys are doing that. And I had a couple of former students that are doctors that came up and said that, some more kind words. No, I don't want to say what they said, but no. Thank you.
Mr. Gavito, without being a politician, you're one of the most influential persons in Brownsville. Thank you.
I like to keep a low profile.
For doing that, you touched a lot of lives. You touched a lot of lives.
Well, I know.
Manuel, what year did you come to work for TSC?
75?
75, okay. And I've known you all those years, and I've known many hundreds, if not thousands of people who have worked here, many of them savages. And I have to say that of all the people that I've worked with, you are the humblest, kindest, most sincere person that we've had on this faculty, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gavito.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, bye.
We'll see you, Primo.
All right. Travel safely.
I came in 75 also.
Came to Brownsville in 75. I came to Brownsville in 75.
Yeah.
I'll now continue with the program. Item number 6, consideration possible action on the minutes of the following meetings, and we'll take them each individually. 6A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on June 24th, 2021. I will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 24th, 2021 as presented.
So moved.
I second that.
There's a motion, there's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 6B, approval of the minutes of the special meeting of July 14th, 2021. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of July 14th, 2021 as presented. There's a motion on the floor.
I second that.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 6C, approval of the minutes of the special meeting of August 4th, 2021. I will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of August 4th, 2021 as presented.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor. Second. There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item 7A, presentation of student service projects update. I'll call on Dr. Zavaleta.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. On Monday, August 16th of this year, the Texas Southmost College Student Services Subcommittee met. Present were myself and Miss Aldrete, and President Rodriguez. We took under consideration one item, which was a presentation and does not require action. But I would call upon Mr. Villarreal, Acting Vice President for Student Services, to give us an overview of what we talked about.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Good evening, Mr. Chair, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez. As Dr. Zavaleta said, this is just an information item only. As we enter into the new fiscal year and new calendar school year, I thought it was appropriate to update the board on all of the projects that we're working on in the major projects that we're working on in the student services area, many of which were approved by the Board of Trustees, right? So it's time for an update. And the first thing I wanted to talk to you about, Dr. Rodriguez already addressed. We've been working diligently from the spring to the summer on registration. As he mentioned, we had 4 registration rallies held on the 23rd of June, July 14th, 17th, and August 11th. They're very well attended, and the staff was very engaged. We featured vaccination clinics and student worker job fairs at a couple of those rallies. We also, as the president mentioned, the staff participated in 12 to 14 different interviews on local radio and TV stations, both in English and in Spanish. Very, very proud of the staff to do that. And of course, we've been communicating with high school graduates and the like throughout the summer. Again, we're sitting on 4,018 students as of today. Registration continues. I'm very proud of the number, actually, because this has been one of the more challenging years to have to find those high school students, as you've seen throughout the country and the rest of the state. At the very bottom there, you see the mobile app QR code. On some of the postcards and communications that we sent out to the students, we included a QR code about our brand new mobile app, which is what I'm going to talk about next. In the summer of 2019, the Board of Trustees approved the modernization plan for our ERP system, which is called Colleague, and that included the Ellucian mobile app. So now, a short 2 years later, we have rolled out, and it is live, the Ellucian Texas Southmost College mobile app, which we call My TSC. As you can see, it's available on the Android and iPhone platforms. It allows students to use their regular credentials with the college to sign in and access their schedules, their grades, the Canvas dashboard. They can make a payment through TouchNet. They can access their student financial statements, inquire about financial aid, etc. Includes a campus map and unofficial transcripts. This project has been led by Randy Wallace, who is the Ellucian Director of Applications, Executive Director of Applications. And it took about 8 months for us to, once we got buckled down, to really roll this out. And it is live. It is live. And I just wanted to share a few stats because we went live with this app. We went live a few months ago, but we actually started advertising it only a few weeks ago. And as of today, we have had 1,768 downloads on Apple devices and 592 downloads on Android devices. I don't know what that says about Android versus Apple. I'm going to lose an argument to somebody out in the audience today. And that's about 98% iPhone versus iPad, et cetera. And there have been 31,000 plus sign-ons just since we launched this about 3 weeks ago. It was a big boon to have the student orientations, right? So all the new students were asked to download it, and apparently they did. And feedback from the Student Services Department has been very positive regarding the app, as the students have been able to locate buildings and find their classes much more readily because of the campus map. I encourage you to download it. You can't, obviously you don't have a sign-on, so there's some things you can't access. But I also wanted to point out, and I know this is hard to read, but those are some screenshots of things that are available. The faculty and staff can also log in using their credentials, so they can get information there, and I can't read it from here, but tax information, payroll information, and other pertinent information that would be available to faculty and staff. News and events can be found whether you have a login or not. I know you can't read it from here, but for example, there's about 3 items, news events that are being pulled off the web that involve things that engage the Board of Trustees themselves. I think Ms. Garza, Mr. De Leon, Ms. Alejandro, I think are all mentioned in those news events. And there's an example of the course catalog that's available to the students out on the mobile app. So very, very proud of this. And I'd say it's been successful so far. If you have any questions about any of this along the way, just feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to keep the program moving. I mentioned a few months ago that we had a bunch, and by a bunch I mean thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of transcripts and permanent records sitting in a vault in the Tandy building. We have engaged a company called Shamrock Solutions. As you know, the board approved us through the CARES Act to engage them for a backscanning permanent records project, right? And so this has already kicked off. They will be on site soon to begin the scanning project. When I presented this at subcommittee, Dr. Zavaleta questioned my 6 to 8 month schedule, thinking that was aggressive, and it may be. But part of what's going to be the delay is actually not just the scanning, but we're going to create these into digital documents that we can pull data off of. This will be very useful for both instruction and for our foundation folks. So this is in progress and is being led by Ms. Vanessa Vasquez there in the back of the room. When I went to the board earlier this spring to get to request permission to purchase customer relationship management programs,
We said no.
you said no. I'll just scan ahead. No. Actually, you said yes, and then you said yes again. You approved 2 different applications to my delight. You may recall that I use a consulting company, IT consulting company called Gartner Group. I was speaking to them one day about emerging trends in education, and the subject matter expert, the analyst, said, well, I see a lot of schools edging towards CRM. And I said, well, that's great. We're looking into that, da-da-da-da. And she said, there's even one school I heard crazy enough to try to implement 2 different solutions at the same time. And I said, oh, really? That is crazy. That is crazy. We're doing 2 implementations at the same time. Target X is the first one. This is going to be on the recruiting side of the house. Again, Ms. Vasquez is leading our project, and we've begun this already and started assembling our team. We're working with Target X, which is a Salesforce company. And the second one is Hobson Starfish, which now actually it belongs to the Education Advisory Board. If you recall, they purchased Hobson Starfish. So this one will be focused on retention. The CRM will engage a lot more of the faculty because it will involve early alerts in the classrooms and so on. So Starfish and Target X will be implementing both of those throughout this year, and they will take 9 to 12 months probably to complete. My goal is to have this all done in the spring, and that way we can impact next fall so that we can report way, way better numbers, right? Another project that we mentioned, and I did a presentation on this last week, was the Student Services Contact Center. I was hoping to go live with that August 1st. We actually went live with that on August the 9th. We had last-minute changes to the configuration. And I would say we are doing really, really well. Again, Ms. Vasquez, and we borrowed Samantha Duque from Oscar's group to help project lead this. We, again, had meetings weekly with our vendor, Telespace. This is the Cisco Unified Call Center Express System. The software is called Cisco Finesse. Again, I talked about this last time, but I wanted to point out a few statistics, and it's way too early to get into a lot of analysis, but the Student Services Department, since the 8th of August, has answered 5,802 calls. 4,351 of those calls were under 60 seconds, which is currently our service level standard. The handle rate for those calls is 77%, which means that we do get abandoned calls. We're getting about 1 out of 4 calls are abandoning us before the 60 seconds are up, which is not that unusual. In fact, I'm pretty proud of the rate for a new contact center. I want to point out the financial aid department has handled 1,875 of those 5,802 calls, which represents 32% of all the calls that have been coming into the contact center have been with financial aid, which is a good thing. And their handle rate is actually higher. They're handling 84% of the calls. So kudos to the financial aid department. We have a new financial aid director, as you know, Ms. Jones. I'm especially proud of the cashiers who have handled 777 of those 5,800 calls, or 13%, with a handle rate of 93%. There have been a few days where they've answered every single call that has come into their department, which is pretty amazing. Now, overall, we have some departments that are heavily taxed with walk-in students, like advising and so on, and their handle rate is lower, but that's why we need this data, right? We need to see what happens during peak times, how maybe we can augment with seasonal employees, et cetera. The last thing I wanted to point out is that 79% of the calls have been through the English option, and I got that wrong, I'm sorry, 91% of the calls have come in through the English option, and 9% have come in through the Spanish option. Overall, I'm extremely proud of what's happening in the contact center. These are the stats that we need to take us to the next level. And that is live. Another project that we had was to implement a product called Maxient software. This is not something that came to the board. It wasn't over the $25,000 threshold. But Maxient is software that allows both Mr. Ponce in Student Life and Civility to handle student complaints, student issues, student concerns, Title IX issues. We now have software that allows us to track and manage basically student behavior across the campus, academic integrity, student conduct, allegations of plagiarism, all of that stuff goes into Maxient. So I wanted to make you aware that we do have a product that we're using live now in Student Life, and it will be used in Human Resources now that we have a new director, Ms. Balderrama. Another product we're using is called Clean Student. Again, you wouldn't have heard of this because it's way under the $25,000 threshold. But this is real-time integrated address verification for higher education. It's a product from a third-party company that actually goes out and acquires student data information from other sources, including the US Post Office and social media, so that we can get information on our student base from the history of our students that we currently don't have. So this is, for example, if we get old addresses, old email addresses, that kind of thing, this product actually can help us update that stuff without even talking to the students. That's live now. Electronic transcripts. Mr. Hernandez, Oscar Hernandez, in the back, the AVP of Student Services, interim, is working with the National Student Clearinghouse, I mentioned this before, to formalize our agreements for electronic transcript exchange, right? So in the future, students will be able, for a fee through the National Clearinghouse, not have to come onto campus and acquire a manual, a document in person, but will be able to get electronic documents for themselves or transfer those documents to other businesses, whether place of employ, other schools for transfer purposes, etc. That should be live next month. Dr. Zavaleta did ask me during subcommittee whether these transactions were secure, and I did reach out to them, and they pointed out to me that on their website they've indicated they have a 9-page privacy policy detailing all of their security and all of the measures that they take to make sure that FERPA standards are met and maintained, and they've actually got certifications from a bunch of organizations, including, I have to look down, iKeepSafe.org's FERPA badge, which was awarded to its student tracker for high school services, National Clearinghouse Transcript Center. It's a leading digital safety and privacy nonprofit organization that awards badges for FERPA certification. So I'm very confident in it, and they're used by thousands of schools. That is coming soon. You already know about this. I'm about to wrap up. We've got a bunch of new classrooms out there, including larger classrooms that are being developed even as we speak. You can see some of the technology, the displays. Mr. Perez was mentioning to me, because he teaches a class, that he's gone into his classroom and seen the new displays. He's pretty happy to see the new technology. And we've got, this number changes constantly. The number of new classrooms changes constantly, but right now it's about 23 new classrooms that we addressed with new technology for this fall. And last but not least, you already know about the Student Services building, the second floor build out, part of which is the cafe to come. We've got Student Government Association space up there. We've got a game room with a pool table and a ping pong table and all of that good stuff. We're gonna have cable TV or some fashion of cable TV in the game room. We've got Xboxes on the way, giant screens, and then of course we've got new study carrels, which will have digital signs as well, displays so that the students can interface with their computers. And this is all going to be happening, I think it'll be finalizing in the next month or so. Howard Technology, which is our partner for displays, is on campus today.
When will the RFP for the restaurant or cafeteria go out?
I will defer to Dr. Figueroa.
Afternoon, Chair Herrera, Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez. We issued the RFP twice. This last time we did not award it because that's when the pandemic hit. So we're getting ready to launch it once more. So that'll be our third round of the RFP.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. This is being led by Armando Ponce and John Tran in IT, and this concludes my presentation. I do want to mention I didn't include our digital signage project, which is also happening as we speak. We're putting up digital signage displays throughout the hallways in the major traffic areas for the students that will allow us to market events and security notices and other things of that like throughout the campus. I think there's 39 or 40 displays that are going up as we speak as well, and that will benefit the students, of course. That concludes my update on student services. You'll get updates like this continuing through the year on the specific.
Mr. Villarreal, thank you very much. Any questions?
I have, I would like for Ms., can you hear me? I would like for Ms. Vasquez to stand up, because I know who she is, and she's involved in everything.
Yes.
I would like to echo that. She makes my job a lot easier. The contact center, I'm trying to reserve my giddiness, because the work that they've done to launch this product and to get all this data to me, it's now my weekend hobby to look through all the reports and stuff. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. And it's going to be a game changer in business intelligence, right? Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, this item does not require action, and that completes my report.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zavaleta. Item number 8, Academic Committee. I'll call on Ms. Garza. to present the item.
I guess this one was not working.
I thought you wanted two
This one is
microphones.
working.
There you go.
The academic committee met on Tuesday, August the 17th, 2021. President was myself, President Rodriguez, and Mr. De Leon, and members of the TSC administration and legal counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 8A, consideration and possible action on approval of Illusion Elevate software purchase for workforce training and continuing education. And I'm going to call on Mr. Villarreal to present this.
Thank you, Ms. Garza, Mr. Chairman, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. As you know, I've been concerned that we don't have enough to do here at Texas Southmost College, so I would like to present this item for Lucian Elevate software for workforce training, continuing education. And I probably buried the lead right there, but this is going to be paid for with the CARES Act 3, correct? Correct. Yeah, we just got approval for that. So as you may or may not know, the workforce area has been growing by leaps and bounds, right? And they're doing gangbusters. And so the concern is that they're doing a lot of things the hard way. They're not very automated. There's a lot of manual tracking, a lot of spreadsheets, that kind of thing. Even the communication with their prospective students is difficult for them. They do a great job. I want to make their job easier, right? So there's a product that already exists and integrates with our colleague system from Lucian called Elevate, and that's what this is. This product will automate their current processes. They will be able to build and tailor courses using this product, process registration through a portal using this product, edit student information, market, assess program profitability, the whole shebang. That everything they have to do manually, right, to determine return on investment for your investment in their services, right? Mm-hmm. It is specifically designed for workforce training and continuing education, right? It isn't for anything else. And the other thing that it's going to do, besides provide analytics and performance dashboards and the like, and make it easier for our students, the other big thing is, right now, all our for credit stuff is in colleague. Everything on the workforce side is not. This will be the bridge between colleague and workforce. So now, students that may need to go from one side to the other, or this side to that, maybe for credit to non-credit and vice versa, can do so. And we'll be able to track that. We've never been able to do that before. So I think almost on those grounds alone, it's worthwhile. Employers will be able to use this portal as well, so they can register their own employees for the offerings that Dr. Fleischman and company provide. The product is going to cost, it's going to be a 5-year contract for $296,000 in total. $113,000 of that will be in year one. That will include the implementation. The first year, $113,000 will be paid for with the CARES Act. And by the way, we negotiated a significant discount, and as I told the subcommittee, I would rather you don't ask me how I did that, but we got a significant discount. If approved, again, we will pay with CARES Act, is that 2 or 3? It's actually CARES Act 2. So that is the ask, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Villarreal. We simply have the best.
Yes.
I move to approve the purchase of Illusion Elevate software for workforce training and continuing education from Illusion Company, LP, through sole source purchasing method in the amount of $113,019 for the first year, the second year for $43,878, the third year for $45,194, fourth year for $46,550, and the fifth year for $47,947 for the total 5-year contract on the amount of the $296,588, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contract as presented.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
8B, consideration and possible action on approval of 4 patient monitor stimulators purchased from iSimulate USA. I said stimulators, it's simulators. Some of us need to be stimulated. Some of us need to be.
I wonder what they were going to stimulate.
And I call on Dr. Kyle, Vice President of Instruction, to present the item.
Thank you, ma'am. Chair Herrera, Board of Trustee members, President Rodriguez, what you have before you is a CARES Act purchase. It is under our sole source purchasing program, and it is for four patient monitor simulators. These are highly advanced patient monitors that simulate and mimics real-life monitors and defibrillation. 2 of these are for the ADN program, 2 of these are for the LVN program. Once again, this does come from the CARES Act, and it's for $35,980 is the request.
I move to approve the purchase of a poor patient monitor simulators in the amount of $35,980 from iSimulate USA through sole source. I apologize. Purchasing method and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contract as presented.
There's a motion on the floor.
I second that.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
8C, consideration and possible action to approve an amended clinical affiliation agreement with Doctors Hospital at Renaissance. This amendment adds the new Brownsville Hospital and all 7 nursing and allied health programs as associate degree nursing, vocational nursing, emergency medical services, diagnostic medical sonography, medical laboratory technology, radiology technology, and respiratory care science. And I'll call on Dr. Kyle.
Thank you, ma'am. Once again, board members, President Rodriguez, we do have a clinical affiliation agreement with DHR up the valley, but this is one for the new hospital that they're opening here in Brownsville, and it includes all of our health professions programs, plus we added in certified nursing assistant. It is for 1 year, and it automatically renews for an additional 1-year term.
I move to approve clinical affiliation amendment with Doctors Hospital at Renaissance for the health profession programs and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
There's a motion on the floor. Second. There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
8D, consideration and possible action on approval for welding gas and other consumables annual purchases through RFP 20-16 for fiscal year 2026 and 2021 and 2022. And I'll call on Dr. Kyle. 2026.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Trustee members, President Rodriguez. What you have before you is based on RFP 2016 for consumables in the welding program. This is our proposed first renewal of that RFP. As you can see from the PowerPoint presentation, there are multiple consumables that are used in the program. They mimic those that we requested last year. If you have any specific questions on these, I cannot answer them, but Dr. Flashman can. Just saying. Dr. Flashman can answer those. The projected purchases for next year are $148,000. Our encumbrances for this year is $147,986.
Thank you, Dr. Kyle.
Thank you, sir.
I move to approve the purchases for welding gas and other consumables with Matheson Trigas through RFP 20-16 for fiscal year 2021 and 2022.
There's a motion on the floor. Second. There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
8E, consideration and possible action on award RFP 21-17 for testing services for welder certification. Dr. Kyle?
Thank you, ma'am. Chair Herrera, Board of Trustee members, President Rodriguez. This is a particular RFP 2117 for a certified welding inspector based on American Welding Society standards. As you may be aware, this is the RFP dates, the RFP timelines, and the RFP scope of work. Basically, Spark Consulting was our respondent for this particular RFP. And as you may be aware, we do have a TSC, American Welding Society Testing Center, where we test our students in welding and also students from the ISDs. You have to have a certified welding inspector to do that testing. So it is a specialized certified skill. These are the review criteria, the same ones we use in our RFPs. And the amount that he is proposing to charge us is $80 per test. We do have a markup on that. And because we anticipate 500 certifications, we believe the estimated price for this will be $40,000 to the consultant if we, in fact, have 500 welding tests.
Correct.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering if there are other companies that provide similar services.
There are other companies, absolutely none of them bid on this RFP.
Right.
This gentleman is coming out of
They didn't
Corpus
bid
Christi.
on it?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's fine.
I move to award RFP 21-17 for testing services for welder certification to Spark Consulting LLC for the period of September 1st, 2021 to August 31st, 2022, with the option to renew for 3 additional one-year terms, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
There's a motion on the floor.
I second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
This concludes Mr. De Leon's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garza. We'll go to item number 9, Finance Committee. I'll call on Ms. Garza again.
Ms. Alejandro will do it.
The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, August 17th, 2021. Present were myself, President Rodriguez, Adela Garza.
Empezaste tú también.
I know, and members of the TSC Administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 9A, consideration and possible action on approval of the Texas Southmost College District budget for fiscal year 2021-2022. Dr. Figueroa?
Thank you, Ms. Alejandro. Chairman Herrera, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you, we have consideration and possible action of approval of our college district budget for fiscal year 21-22. As you might recall, we had 2 budget workshops, and we presented to you the budget that we have today for approval. At this moment, I want to open for any questions that you have on the budget.
Yeah.
Do I put the presentation? Yep. The timeline of events on the budget started back in January. It's a long process where we start gathering information, pulling all of the departments and the contributors to the budget, all the way to making adjustments, presenting it on the 2 different budget workshops to the board, what we've worked on, and taking your feedback to incorporate it into the budget. The timeline, it started in July when you voted to have the designation of who will be doing the tax calculations. We had 2 budget workshops, meeting to propose the tax rate. We had a public hearing earlier today. And right now, we have the meeting to approve the budget for next fiscal year. The budget comparison for the educational and general fund, This is the revenue estimations. We go from what we have differences between fiscal year '21 and what we're proposing for fiscal year '22. Our projections on revenue for the Educational General Fund include the state appropriation. There is an increase of $2.2 million to $1,286,198. And that is what the college earned by having the enrollment increases that we had during the past biennium and counting year. The state ORP contribution, that is what the state affords us to subsidize the cost of insurance for our employees. Ad valorem tax, the maintenance portion of the rate, we are estimated $1.6 million additional in revenue, and this is based on the proposed tax rate that you proposed back on August the 4th. We have a tuition and fees estimate of $8.9 million, and that is based on a 6% reduction of fiscal year fall of 19, not last year, the prior fall, which is more comparable before the pandemic. We have workforce training, Scorpio summer camps, and all of the other revenue that come in, including an interest, and that's where we see the biggest decrease, and just because the interest rates are decreasing, and dual enrollment. The total revenue is projected at $39,340,452. We are presenting a balanced budget, so the revenue that we're projecting is comparable to the expenses that we are projecting for next year, from what we have to pay for our bond debt in each one of our divisions. This is the same revenue comparison as I showed before between fiscal year '21, our current year, and next year, but this is for the auxiliary budget, where we have the fees, the student fees, parking permits, childcare, workforce training, and other income such as the leases of our rental property. What we're estimating on the proposed revenue is $4.7 million. That is a difference of $296,000 in excess from the prior year. Again, we are presenting a balanced budget, so the proposed revenue for next year is comparable to the proposed expenses for the next year. The third fund that we present for your approval is the debt service fund, and that is the portion of the tax rate that pays for our bonds. And that is a total of $4.8 million that is proposed. What goes into this fund is exactly what is needed to cover our expenses. So that's the only thing we have in this fund, what we pay in the bond. Again, we're proposing a balanced budget, and the amount of the revenues that are coming in here are specifically to pay our bond obligation and any fees that are associated with that bond obligation. This is the transfers that come in to pay that bond obligation from both the Educational and General Fund, which is $1.6 million, and $880,000 that come from auxiliary to subsidize the final, the debt service bonds that are in that. Are there any questions for me at this point? I know we discussed it over.
Yes.
And over, but I'm here open for any questions.
Therefore, I move to approve the Texas Southmost College fiscal year 2021-2022 operating budget as presented.
There's a motion on the floor.
I second.
There's a second. Any discussion? I want to comment that this budget includes a 3% salary increase to all employees of Texas Southmost College.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
9B, consideration and possible action on the adoption of 2021 TSC District ad valorem tax rates resolution. Dr. Figueroa?
Yes, ma'am. Once again, we're here for consideration and possible action of approval for our property tax rate for year 2021. The tax rate, just as a reminder, consists of the two pieces that I mentioned before in the budget, the maintenance and operation, and the portion that pays for our debt service. rate. There are three different rate calculations that you were introduced on August the 4th, the prior year rate, non-year revenue rate, and the border approval rate. On August the 4th, the board approved the proposal of the border approval rate, which comes out to 154,636 or $154.64 for a $100,000 property valuation. That is a decrease from the prior year rate that we're currently having of $162.41 per 100,000 property valuation. So in overall, there is a decrease in the property tax rate. Are there any questions?
I move to adopt a maintenance and operations tax rate of 1.119694 and a debt tax rate of 0.034942 per 100,000 of evaluation.
I second.
There's a motion on the floor. There is a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
9C, monthly financial statement report for the month ended June 30th, 2021. Dr. Figueroa?
With your permission, ma'am, I'd like to present the report.
Please do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, President Rodriguez, good afternoon. I have for you the budget to actual report for the month of June. I'll be presenting this report, which is similar in format to the ones that we presented in prior months. And my presentation will mainly concentrate on the June column, which represent the actual expenditures for that month. I'll very briefly go through some of the highlights. The first fund that I'll discuss, which is one of the three funds that TSC adopts, the first one being the Education and General Fund. Towards the bottom of the page, on that first slide, we have a subtotal for revenue in the month of June, which is 3.8 million. On the subsequent slide is where the expenditure detail begins for the general fund. And we have subtotals for salaries and wages and benefits on this slide. That's followed by the detail for the M&O category. And as we've done before, we have the object code descriptions along the left, which can describe the type of activity that's occurring. And that continues on to the next slide. And then we have a subtotal for the month of June, 993,000. In general fund, we do not have any travel expenditures in general fund for the month of June. And then we have our subtotal for general institutional. And then, oh, my apologies. In the middle of the page, 162,000. At the bottom of this slide, we have a subtotal for expenditures, which can be seen here, 3.2 million. This is all the expenditures in general fund for the month of June. So that's the first of the two funds that we'll discuss. The second one is the auxiliary fund. We have a subtotal for revenue on the first slide, 46,000. The subsequent slides contain the expenditure detail for auxiliary fund. And on this slide, we can see salaries and wages, benefits, the M&O category, and that M&O category totals on the next slide, where we have $99,000. That's the subtotal for the month of June. And if I may highlight the total expenses for auxiliary fund in the month of June, $193,516. Second fund that we've covered. The third and final fund that I'll touch on is the general obligation and revenue bond funds. We have revenue to report in the month of June, $76,000, with no expenditures related for that fund. Those are the three funds that we report on. The next slide is our fund balance recap. We can see at the top of this slide where we have the beginning fund balance number, which ties to the audited financial statements from the month, for the fiscal year 2020. We have the activity that's occurred, and then at the bottom of the slide, we have our estimated amount, $34,086,248. The next slide we have is the detail for the insurance for general fund and for auxiliary. All the different categories are detailed with the related amounts. We have two subtotals, 1.9 million for general fund, and at the very bottom of the slide, 112,000 for the auxiliary fund. And the final portion of this presentation is the debt service tables. There have been no changes to these tables since the last time that we presented these reports. And with that, Mr. Chairman, that'll conclude my presentation. If there are any questions, I'd like to try and answer those at this time.
This item was for information purposes only. No action is required. 9D, update on grants awarded to Texas Southmost College for the months of June and July 2021. Dr. Figueroa and Dr. Fuentes?
Chairman Herrera, TSC Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez, I'm here to present on grant activity for Texas Southmost College for the month of June and July. As you can see, many of these are, thank you. Many of these are no-cost extensions from last year. We did receive on this slide, two new awards from Texas Workforce Commission for the Skills Development Grant, which is a skills self-sufficiency grant, actually, as well as the Greater Texas Foundation Emergency Aid Grant to help with our re-enrollment. And our Region 1, we received a small subcontract from them to support summer camps this past summer. We also, for the month of July, we received over $162,000 to support our child care center, which mostly supported salaries. And we extended a grant we had with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board for our support of our developmental education programs. I'm here if you have any other questions.
This item was also for information purposes only. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
9E, all institutional cares expenditures report. Dr. Figueroa?
Thank you, Ms. Alejandro. Before you, our next item is the expenditure caps report. This report was at the request of the board to have a complete tally, and this is not it. Do you have the kit? You don't have it? Okay. It's on your packet. You have a complete detailed report of all the CARES expenditures that have been made to date on the institutional portion. At the end, it's a tally of the report. It has every item with vendor, address, amount, and the different items that have been purchased. If there's any questions, this is for information items. I'll be here to answer on that report.
This item was also for information purposes only. No action is required. 9F, third quarter investment report for fiscal year 2021. Dr. Figueroa?
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Pizarro will do the honors of presenting the investment report.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, President Rodriguez. We have the third quarter investment report for Texas Southmost College. That covers the period of February 1st, 2021 through May 31st, 2021. And this report, again, it's in a similar format as we've presented to the board before. It recaps all the different types of investments that we carry, and we report for you the market value at which they're being carried during that quarter. We have a nice table at the very top of the report that recaps the different types of categories that we present, and we have comparative data for the different quarters where we can go in and look at those. There are a summary of all the other pages that are in the report, so my presentation will mainly concentrate on the table that's on that first slide at the top of the report. and I'll briefly go through those numbers right now. We have current funds totaling $68 million, loan funds, $68,000, endowment and similar funds of $3.4 million, plant funds of $13.9 million, and AGC funds of $11,000. This report is required by the Public Funds Investment Act, so every quarter we present this to be in compliance with that act. If there are any questions with regard to the report, I'd like to try and take that opportunity to answer those, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, much appreciated.
This item was also for information purposes only. 9G, consideration and possible action on an agreement with City of Brownsville, Brownsville Metro, to provide transportation services to Texas Southmost students to and from the college campus, as well as all routes of the Brownsville Metro. Dr. Figueroa?
Thank you, Ms. Alejandro. Members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you have consideration and possible action on an agreement with the City of Brownsville, specifically Brownsville Metro, to provide transportation services to our students, Texas Southmost College students, to the college campus and increase a route that connects the college campus with the Itech building. Through this agreement, this will be our third year doing this agreement and providing these services. The agreement includes that route that I mentioned connecting us to the Itech building, as well as unlimited rides on any and all of the Brownsville Metro routes Monday through Sunday. Now they even operate on Sunday. This agreement also includes advertising our name on their digital billboards. It gives them the ability to see any of our news that we project in there. The total amount of this contract will be for $40,000, and it's for your consideration. This will be starting now, this fiscal year, and it will end next August of 2022.
With that said, I move to approve agreement with the City of Brownsville in the amount of $40,000 and authorize President Rodriguez to execute such agreement.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any discussion?
I have a question. Do we know how many students use this mode of transportation?
Yes, ma'am. We do get reports on the usage. Last year, we had seen quite a drastic decrease on the usage because of COVID. But I'm happy to report that as of Monday, when classes started, we started seeing students coming in the bus. And we have two different stops in our campus, one by the Child Care Center 2 and one on Tandy Building that is just newly relocated.
Thank you.
There is a motion on the floor. There is a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
This concludes our report.
Thank you, ladies. Next item is item number 10, Facilities Committee. I'll call on Ms. Hines to give the report.
The Facilities Committee met on Wednesday, August 18, 2021. Present were Ms. Eva Alejandro, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 10A, consideration and possible action on approval of classroom furniture purchase for Tandy Building. I call on Dr. Joanna Kyle and Dr. Gisela Figueroa to present the item.
You're gonna gang up?
Thank you, ma'am. What you have before you is a CARES Act funding request for 6 classrooms at Tandy with an average capacity of 40 each. This is through a purchase co-op with Omnia Partners. If you look at your slides, you see that we have the chairs, much like, actually they are the chairs that we've used in other buildings on campus here, and a Safeco product for the tables. Oh, they're single student tables, yes, thank you very much for that. These are the 6 classrooms. As you can see, some of them seat 40, some seat less than 40, some seat a couple of more. But the facilities team has done a terrific job of renovating that space, or in the process of renovating that space. So kudos goes to the facilities team, and also to procurement, who has purchased a lot of different products over the summer, so we're very appreciative to them. Like I said, this money will come from the Federal CARES Act, the institutional portion, and we are asking for funding for Safeco Products Company in the amount of $98,054, and from Kruger International in the amount of $69,413. If you have any questions, we can answer.
No. I recommend to approve classroom furniture purchase for Tandy Building from Safeco Product Company in the amount of $98,054, and Kruger International in the amount of $69,413 through Omnia Partners Purchasing Cooperative Contracts, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contracts as presented.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Okay. Next item, 10B, consideration and possible action on approval of emergency purchase for a partial roof repair at Itech. That is the JCPenney building. I call on Dr. Gisela Figueroa and Mr. Jaime Salazar to present the items.
Will be making this presentation.
Good evening, Chairman Herrera, Board of Trustee members, President Rodriguez. We will be presenting this project here on the JCPenney roof. As y'all will know, we've had some problems with the roof for quite some time now. And what I want to do is just show you a little bit of the initial layout that we have here. As we go through, we're going to actually show you the exact area that we're talking about with this project. What you see outlined in red right now are the areas specifically that we're looking to contract to get that fixed. This accounts for a majority. This is 1/3 of the entire roof, but this accounts for the majority of the major impacts and the severity that we're having. And we'll show you some pictures and video right now. What we're talking about is the partial roof repair, and that'll include, it's over 20,000 square feet. It's the actual removal of the existing roof and the metal deck down to the existing steel structure. That'll entail in providing the install of the 1.5 inch 22 gauge galvanized steel deck. It'll provide the 1 inch ISO and or the insulation. It provides and installs a 1/2 sure rock, and provide and install the 2-pile roof system torch down. Basically, it's the layered system all the way down to the roofing, down the infrastructure that we currently have in place. These expenses will be coming from the current year funds if approved.
Do we have any questions? Okay. Where am I? I move to approve emergency purchase of partial roof repair at Itech in the amount of $195,000 plus $19,500 in contingency from Signs and More, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contract.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
10C, consideration and possible action on approval of window solar shades purchase for campus classrooms. I call on Dr. Kyle and Dr. Fuentes to present this item.
Thank you, ma'am. With your permission, I would like to ask Dr. Fuentes to present this item.
Chairman Herrera, TSC Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez. I'm here to ask for your approval to purchase 350 window solar shades for the 8 buildings across campus. The funds will come from our Teaching and Learning Space project. If you can,
See,
let me show you here. There's the current shade and then the new shades. The shades would be replaced in all the classrooms and conference rooms, obviously with windows. I didn't know why I felt like I had to say that, but I did. Thank you. The amount for request for purchase is a little over $82,000. I'm here if you have any questions.
Why is the old shade darker than the new shade?
Dirt. No, not dirt. When we asked the faculty for their feedback, a lot of it was they didn't want the classroom too dark. Also with the new technology, the screens, we don't need dark classrooms because we have the panels now. So they wanted the light and they wanted to be able to see the silhouette of the trees.
that's right.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Who am I to say no? Come on.
This is what our teachers are asking for? Yes?
Light, yes, light. And I brought the faculty in to look at them and rank them.
Okay. Thank you. I move to approve purchase of window solar shades for campus classrooms in the amount of $82,180 directly from the manufacturer Standard Textile through TIPS Purchasing Cooperative Contract and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contract as presented.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and 10D is a facilities update. I call on Dr. Figueroa and Mr. Jaime Salazar to present this item.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Members of the board, President Rodriguez, we have a facilities update and our AVP of operations will do that update.
Chairman Herrera, Board of Trustee members, President Rodriguez, thank you again for the opportunity. We'll go through with the Itech Dillard's Roof Renovations Project update. As you know, and you've seen these pictures before, this is the current existing infrastructure that we have out there at the Dillard's compound. As you can see, it's in dire need of some attention. So this update will provide you the current project status. On July 14th, we met, obviously we brought this to the Board of Trustees. You awarded the contract to Ziwa Corporation in the amount of $3.1 million. Ziwa subsequently has submitted payment and performance bonds and proof of insurance. The contract review and execution has been completed, and we met with them on August 12th, 2021 to continue the process. Our next steps are currently the notice to proceed to be released. Contractors' mobilization is expected to occur during the last week of August. We just checked with them, and that is on schedule. And the project completion estimated date is May 2022, based on about a 300 calendar day and assuming no constraints due to weather and/or other supply chain issues. We'll continue then. Now, if there's no questions on that, we'll continue with the campus parking lot improvements project update as well. So as you can see here, we've color-coded this. And for the most part, everything that you see in red is our dire. That's our high traffic and the areas that need the most work done on the parking lot project. What you see in blue and yellow refer to a second and third tier of that, but we're concentrating right now on the red portion. As you can tell, it is within the main campus area and the high traffic areas that I just mentioned. You can see the Itech building as well. The entire front section is in dire need of improvements. The engineer completed the field survey to collect the information required for the design. Coordination meeting was also held on July 23rd with the engineer. Preliminary construction costs were also received for both for the Fort Brown campus and Itech as well. Engineer submitted the design cost based on those initial preliminary costs. So here we have the breakdown of those costs with the subtotal. We've added a contingency cost as well, as a lot of our prices are fluctuating, and then the total cost there for $1.6 million.
Awesome.
Yeah, for Brown. Yes, for the Fort Brown area. Correct.
Let me ask
For
you
the
this.
Fort Brown area.
Does this money come from the parking fees? Exclusively from that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Do we
So-
have the whole amount, the 1.6 from the parking fees?
This is based on the engineer's assessment and thinking about the pricing. We haven't gone for an RFP yet. That's our next step that we have detailed here. We do have around that amount of money on the parking fee. It varies because we still need to calculate any interest that is earned up to now. Once we release the RFP, we'll know for sure the prices, and we'll bring that to you as soon as we have that RFP back. The engineer's working with us to create that RFP because of the detail and service. One thing I do want to note is that the Itech parking lot was not included in the in what we're contemplated for the $1.6 million. We will issue the RFP including everything, and then we'll bring it to you. That way you can make an informed decision on the next step to proceed.
Mr. Salazar said that it was both Fort Brown and Itech.
He misspoke.
That's what he said.
This is only for, and that's why I wanted to make the clarification. The 1.6, it's the estimate that the engineer gave us for the Fort Brown campus.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Assuming these big ticket items are not budgeted, and that may be an incorrect assumption, where do you get the money to pay for them? Does this come out of the general fund?
We, the board has allowed us to use the parking lot fund for this project, which will be the money that we'll use. We will present options to the board. If the amount needed is in excess of that, the board will have the decision if they want to use some of that fund balance to do the project or not.
Okay.
Thank you. This item was for information purposes only. No action is required.
The next, we have one more update, ma'am.
Okay.
And it's the courtroom and the criminal justice program. We are currently, the project status is, as you might recall, on July 14, the board awarded the RFP to start the project to R.E. Frederick's company in the amount of $164,000. We have scheduled coordination meetings. They have produced already the performance bond and proof of insurance. The contract review and execution, it's in process. We had a meeting with facilities and users of the space on July 28th and on August 9th. So we've been meeting with them. One of the things we requested is what Chairman Herrera had requested during the approval, and we're contemplating on adding additional space or changing the scope. That's why this project gets a little on hold. We have requested guidance from TSC on insurance and liability. We have requested guidance from the county and city jail services as to what is needed. And we'll be coordinating with the contractor to have updating prices for the options of either an addition to the building or a modification to the current layout.
Dr. Figueroa, I discussed with Dr. Rodriguez, we are going to skip the detained or incarcerated individuals who might have a trial here. So anything, we don't need
perfect.
Any space. So you can continue forward with the negotiation without that thing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Without the modifications.
Without the modifications, then we'll proceed to start the project.
Whatever we had, just.
Yes, they have already submitted payment performance bonds and proof of insurance, so we are ready to proceed to start the project. We'll move forward. Thank you.
All right, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Sines. Now, item 11, I'll call on Ms. Alejandra to give a report on the policy committee.
The Policies Committee met on Wednesday, August 18th, 2021. Present were myself, Ms. Aldrete, President Rodriguez, and members of the TSC administration, College Legal Counsel, and Board Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item: review and acknowledgement of legal policy update 41. Mr. Peña?
Yes, good afternoon or good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. You have in your, why are you looking at me that way, Doug?
Can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me, okay. Let me speak a little louder, I'm sorry. You have before you the legal updates, which do not require any board approval. They are for your review and acknowledgement. They cover several areas. Some of those areas are of particular concern to your legal counsel, both the board and administration. They deal with the particularly local governance, the elections and orientation and training, as well as personnel. These are just for your acknowledgement and your review. Both Mr. Pettis and I have reviewed them. They contain the required policies as required either by statute or by case law, and we're required to adopt them in toto. And I'm assuming that you've read them all and have enjoyed reading them for your edification. If there are any questions, Mr. Pettis and I are both here to answer any probing questions that you may have on these legal policies.
No. We want to thank Dr. Figueroa for the cliff notes, right?
I might add, yes, Dr. Figueroa has very graciously included what are called the cliff notes, the summaries of these policies as well as your policies, and those kind of give you the highlight of the changes.
Right, makes it a lot easier.
Yes.
This item was for information purposes only and no action is required, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Alejandro. Next item is item number 12, BN 711. I will move to executive session. Being 8:31, we come back from executive session. Are there any motions from executive session?
Mr. Chair, I move that to approve the fiscal year 2021 salary schedule as presented in executive session.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
I have another motion. I move to approve the TSC strategic priorities for fiscal year 2022 as presented in executive session.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, announcement of proposed meeting dates. Proposed meeting dates, a regular board meeting would be Thursday, September 23rd, and a regular board meeting would be Thursday, October 21st of 2021. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So move.
There's a motion for adjournment. There's a second. Any discussion, any opposition to this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful session.